I'm going to ask each of these panelists, as I know, to speak just for a very few minutes, and I'm reminding you all aloud, the woman sitting right in front of you, who just put her finger up in the air, is going to be your warning signal. But I will ask you each to introduce yourself, and then the instructions to them were please share something about your cancer experience that you know would be helpful for others doing with something similar. And Kevin, if we can maybe start with you down in the far end, so if you would introduce yourself, and then we'll just move in this direction.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Finn. I'm a cancer survivor. Do I need to keep going? I didn't really expect to go first, so bear with me here. Again, I'll say hello to everyone. What a wonderful day. Celebration of Life. I already said my name. First thing, thank God. Special thanks to Dr. Gephardt and staff, Dr. Spencer and Dr. Pandya, Tom Garrity and Frank. Excuse me, Frank, if I said your name wrong. McCaffrey, I think. And Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center for excellent care. I am so grateful. July 07th, working as a stonemason, I had some tests done. And found I had 2 types of cancer. They travel in different areas of my body. I was numb and sick and all alone. So I said, okay, Kevin, gotta stay strong. So I had radiation, chemo, and then surgery. I went to rehab at the Coolidge House. 6 days later, my sister passed away in her sleep. That was a tough one. So I had to dig deeper in my soul. I got past it. Next was chemo. So my sister said, you must go on. Chemo kept knocking me down. So I got right back up, again and again. I'm doing very good now. I'm stronger than ever. Body, mind, and soul. I continue to go to visit people in the hospitals and rehab, to give them hope and love that was so freely gave to me. Thank you and God bless.
Hi, my name is Howard Lipsky. I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed about 13, 14 years ago with prostate cancer. Kind of overwhelmed when I first heard. I'm kind of a person that needs a plan, so I had to kind of get research, get a support team behind me. That's what I had to do to go forward, which is what I did. After doing my research, I went with the surgery route, and that was successful. My brother came down and took 2.5 weeks out of his life to help me back from the surgery and get me going, walking again. About 4.5 years ago, Hester and Dr. Bubbly both suggested that I join the volunteer group at the BI. So I have been volunteering for the past 4.5 years on Shapiro 9. I've met some wonderful volunteers and many, many wonderful patients It's kind of my way of giving back and paying it forward as the movie goes. Just talking through the process with people who have been through it is sometimes helpful to patients, and that's what, as volunteers, we try to do. I call my volunteering Thursdays at the BI, which is what I look forward to. The volunteers come a specific day every week for as long as they volunteer. It's comforting to me to do this, and hopefully it's a sense of camaraderie with the patients. It kind of got me through the process of working through my cancer. My brother, unfortunately, was diagnosed 3 months ago with prostate cancer. What I did was go up to New Jersey for about 2 weeks to help him through his bout and to kind of give him my experience with it so he can get through it. He went with surgery also. It's much different than it was with me 14 years ago. He got a very good diagnosis, and he has no cancer, and he's cancer-free now. So that was a good outcome. Thank you. Having someone to share questions with and kind of walk through what they've done was very helpful to him, and I think it's the same thing that we try to do as volunteers at the hospital. The BI community has been very welcoming to me, approachable, especially Dr. Bubbly, who has been with me the entire 13 years. It's been a great experience for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bob O'Brien. I'm a high school science teacher. And I have to confess that the last time I was here at Harvard Medical School, my sister Mary snuck me into the anatomy lab to see her cadaver and help with some dissecting. Since that time, I only come down to this part of Boston for medical appointments, so I was very happy to accept Hester's invitation to join this panel, knowing that I wouldn't be spending any time on the 9th floor of Shapiro. My experience with cancer began about 4 years ago when a small lump above my right collarbone turned out to be lymphoma. I went through 8 cycles of R-CHOP chemotherapy, after which I was declared in remission and settled into a series of PET CT scans every 6 months. I was told that if I reached year 5 without a recurrence, I'd be cured. Last December, I went in for a scan, and I was up to the 4-year mark and feeling pretty confident. But a couple of lymph nodes in my abdomen were a little too avid for my oncologist to ignore. I suggested to him that they were probably reactive to a stomach bug, hoping that he would say, yeah, you're right, see you in 6 months. But instead, he sent me for a biopsy. The results weren't what I had predicted. The lymph nodes in question contained abnormal cells from my GI tract. Somehow I had developed colon cancer. I then went through a series of procedures, a colonoscopy, a colectomy, an insertion of a port, treatment for a resulting blood clot. And no sooner had my appetite returned than I began another chemotherapy regimen called FOLFOX4. And I'm now a third of the way through that, and I should finish at the end of the summer. Getting lymphoma 4 years ago came as quite a shock to my wife, Michaela, and me. We had both been pretty healthy up to that point, and our high school lifestyle was never what anyone would call wild or reckless. We were worried about the diagnosis, and we found the tests leading up to and following it to be quite disconcerting. But the chemo went well. I was able to continue my coaching and teaching, which made us feel optimistic. The periodic scans, though, continue to be an emotional ordeal. I feel like I'm kind of giving up control of my life every time I slide into that tunnel of the imaging machine. And waiting for the results, as my father-in-law would say, is like doing your purgatory on earth. Our reaction to the second cancer was quite different because the implications of the diagnosis seemed much darker. Just what did it mean to be cancer-prone? While my Catholic upbringing often caused me to look upon lymphoma as some kind of penance for various misdeeds, I really had a hard time rationalizing the colon cancer. During my prayers at night, I was more apt to ask God, just what are you thinking, as opposed to please help me get through this.